It was a bright and beautiful afternoon, and the garden was alive with color. Flowers bloomed in every corner, and the air was filled with the soft hum of bees and the occasional flutter of butterflies. The sun was high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the whole scene. Tom, the ever-scheming cat, was lounging lazily in the shade of a large oak tree. His eyes were half closed, and his tail flicked lazily back and forth. But behind those sleepy eyes, Tom was alert, keeping a close watch on his arch-nemesis, Jerry. The little mouse was out near the vegetable patch, darting from plant to plant, as if he didn't have a care in the world. But Tom knew better. Wherever Jerry went, trouble usually followed. Jerry's nose twitched as he caught the scent of something sweet. He turned his head and spotted it, a plump, juicy strawberry hanging from a bush just a few feet away. His tiny mouth watered at the sight. He licked his lips and glanced around, making sure Tom was still asleep. Satisfied that the coast was clear, Jerry made his move. With quick and silent steps, Jerry crept toward the strawberry bush. He was almost there when snap! A small net launched from the bushes nearby, set by none other than Tom. Jerry barely had time to react, leaping out of the way just in time to avoid being caught. The net landed harmlessly on the ground, missing him by mere inches. Tom, who had been hiding behind a garden hedge, emerged with a smirk on his face, thinking he'd finally gotten Jerry, but the mouse was too fast. Jerry stood just out of reach, arms crossed, grinning up at Tom. He gave a cheeky wave, as if to say, "Nice try, but not today." Furious, Tom growled and sprang into action. The chase was on. Jerry took off like a bolt of lightning, darting between rows of flowers and under the thick leaves of the garden's many plants. He was fast, weaving in and out of the flower beds with ease. Tom, on the other hand, was having a much harder time. He crashed through the garden, knocking over flower pots and scattering petals everywhere. The bees buzzed angrily as Tom disturbed their peaceful afternoon, but the cat was too focused on Jerry to care. Jerry, always the clever one, spotted a small toy rake lying near the flower bed. With a quick glance back at Tom, he grinned mischievously and carefully positioned the rake, knowing exactly what would happen next. Tom, still in hot pursuit, didn't see the trap. He was too busy trying to keep up with the nimble mouse, and then WHACK. Tom stepped on the rake, and the handle shot up, hitting him right in the face. The impact made him stop in his tracks, eyes crossed, as he stumbled backward, dazed and confused. Jerry, now a safe distance away, couldn't help but laugh. He rolled on the grass, clutching his sides as Tom rubbed his sore nose, trying to shake off the daze. But Tom wasn't giving up that easily. With a frustrated growl, he shook his head and resumed the chase. Jerry led him through the garden again, this time toward the back, where a small pond shimmered in the afternoon sun. A narrow wooden bridge crossed the pond, just wide enough for someone as small as Jerry. The mouse darted across the bridge, looking back to see if Tom was still following. Of course, Tom was right on his tail, determined not to let Jerry get away this time. As Tom reached the bridge, he charged across without a second thought. But Jerry had already noticed something Tom hadn't. The bridge was old and rickety, and Tom's weight was too much for it. Halfway across, the wooden planks began to creak and groan under the strain. Before Tom could react, crack, the bridge gave way beneath him, sending him plunging into the pond below with a loud splash. Water sprayed everywhere as Tom flailed in the pond, desperately trying to climb out. His fur was soaked, and his face was a mix of shock and frustration. Meanwhile, Jerry stood on the other side of the pond, watching the whole thing unfold with amusement. The mouse wiped a tear from his eye, laughing so hard he could barely stand. With a victorious twirl, Jerry plucked a daisy from the ground and held it up like a trophy. Tom, drenched and defeated, climbed out of the pond, water dripping from his fur and a lily pad stuck to his head. He shot Jerry a look that could melt ice, but Jerry, ever the cheeky one, simply waved again as if to say, "Better luck next time, Tom." But Tom wasn't about to give up. Even as he wrung the water out of his tail, he was already planning his next move, determined to catch that crafty little mouse. And Jerry, well, he scampered back to his hole, already looking forward to their next game of cat and mouse. In the garden, under the warm sun, the two lifelong rivals continued their never-ending battle, Tom plotting, Jerry outsmarting, and the chase always continuing.